Too many cooks in the freaking kitchen.
Come on in.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. That has to be part of this.
We're rolling. Welcome to Post Game on the Pitch, and bittersweet moment, but it's all in celebration. This is Stephen Agen's last, not only Post Game on the Pitch, but your last Sounder game for a minute, because you're going where?
Going to New York to go to grad school. Thank you so much for the shout out, Maz. And tonight was my 206th consecutive Seattle Sounders Major League Soccer home league match. So,
and we have, keep going.
Oh no, not the result, but a beautiful night here, and glad to hang out with you guys. So.
And of course, Jackson Felt. If you don't know the history, right? Jackson actually started the Post Game on the Pitch, and then we kind of got on there, and he is, of course, the play-by-play. It's a weekly show for this. The pre-game show for the Sounders.
Pre and post, yeah.
Pre and post.
Let's not inflate me any more than
he might be post-game. You just don't know, but he can do it all that he does. And I would shout out here that he actually has helped soccer in terms of on the radio, because before that it was right. Remember when we were at John Marshall, of course, in Radio Cascadia? It was before KJR got on, and he is.
Definitely a different atmosphere, different type of broadcast, and just celebration of soccer in general.
All right.
It's so nice to have him here.
Absolutely. Russell Brown, of course, is here of CascadiaSports.net. But on that note, just talk about your experience from just how soccer has changed the radio, and since
going back to Jackson's show and Jackson's coverage, I think that 950 KJR taking an interest in the Sounders has done a lot for them on the radio in the city, and it's given them exposure and coverage like they didn't have before. And personally, it gave me an opportunity to work with Jackson for a while, and that was the greatest. And I think we can all say that ultimately, tangentially or directly, it brought us all together.
But hold on. Let me jump in here, because the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because of this man, Stephen A. Because when I first started covering the team, I was hanging around you guys, and you both helped really I was a fan, but you helped teach me the game to that next level. It's like going from checkers to chess. You guys taught me that next chess level, right? And Stephen, coming on and doing Radio Cascadia with you in the bunker, right? It's those moments and it's that time that allowed that development, and then to bring that to Radio Cascadia Live, and then to do everything that we've done. The 2-hour pregame show before 2017 MLS Cup, where we're in Toronto. Maybe the secret is now getting out.
Yes.
That wasn't a live show, fully recorded 3 days in advance. And it's those things. So to you, and a massive thank you to what you've done for soccer in media and on radio, because I wouldn't be where I am and who I am without you, my friend.
Thank you, that means a lot.
Two other people that are missing, Matt Pence and Andrew Harvey, are also part of that. So we are taking a stroll down memory lane, because if you don't know who you are, where you come from, you will not know who you are and where you're going in that. And so you've got the past, present, and the future. And on that note, it's interesting that soccer is a team game and a family game, and I'm going to start there. What's missing in the Sounders?
Man, it just kind of seems like they're out of ideas in attack, and maybe you guys will disagree. They created plenty of chances in the second half and just couldn't force one home after RSL regained the lead. But I get the sense about this team right now that I could think of a lot of different things for them to try differently, but I'm not very confident which one's going to work.
I'm pretty concerned at this point with their lack of finishing from set pieces. That's been an issue all year long. Corners in particular have been pretty lacking in danger, I guess would be the way to put it. They've been taking a lot of short corners with the intent of getting the ball back to Ladero a little bit farther off the end line so that they can whip a ball in away from the goalkeeper. Didn't really work successfully tonight. Spencer did mention that's something that they've been working on, and something in particular for RSL that they thought could be successful tonight, and haven't had that success. Being able to finally start converting chances there, because they are creating some from time to time. If they can start creating more and finishing more, I think that really does turn this team around.
Hello.
We were talking about a little bit, Maz and John. I don't like that we don't have an aerial threat, especially on those corners. Someone that just goes up and wins those headers, or that's why you play away from the keeper to get it away. And I just feel like they don't have that, and it goes on to the finishing. But it's something that's always bothered me about this team since the beginning. They've just never had that type of person. You know, whether it be a striker that's above 6 foot or somebody just throw up and win those balls. It's just always been a problem, and it shows in matches like this.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo a lot of what you guys said. And in addition to all of that, just bad luck. I mean, at the end of the day, you're facing situations where I think a lot of the things that have happened, little things that have happened over these last few weeks, have just been really unlucky, tiny little things. Christian Roldan being an inch offside, and did that ball hit the defender? Stephen, we were just talking about that, right? Where it's just tiny little, incremental things that have led to, getting, no points as it was in these last two. The Atlanta game, just a guy hits a phenomenal shot and you just were out of position defensively in that moment and weren't able to close down. Little things here and there, and some of it's luck, some of it is just doing all of the little things. And I think the proper question to every single player, to every single coach right now is what's missing? What is that missing piece right now? And they may all answer it differently. I mean, we were just in the locker room, and both Danny Leyva and Kellen Rowe both used the word luck. And I think for some guys that may be as simple as that, just the ball not bouncing right. And I mean, I asked Danny, is it as simple as the luck turning? And he kind of shrugged and gave a multifaceted yes and no answer. But I mean, yeah, luck has been certainly a small part of it at least.
I think you create your own luck, and Brian Smith has talked about consistency and overall, and that's what's missing. I think we can say about the Atlanta goal, but if you look at the Atlanta goal, it's the same goal that LAFC's first goal was. Again, that is, the player was given all that time to strike that wonder goal. And so for me, you make your own luck in soccer. I think going back to Brian's point, they're not consistent 90. But like everybody will mark the man here and there. And then the other thing lastly is what they're not doing is that the person without the ball is not moving to space. So that I have the ball, I have to wait for somebody to get to space. That allows for the other team's defenders to come and get me, and there's no flow. So that is another part, that you're not creating the chances all the time in the 90. So can they do it?
I mean, yes, they can do it.
How will they do it?
I think you need more creativity to go off what was said. You need more creativity in the attack, and you need, I think, a spark. I mean, this feels like a thing where maybe it isn't necessarily throwing a different person in the lineup or trying something different there, but maybe it's as simple as just the dam breaking on something big. Getting a sensational goal that just flips it. Rui Diaz, right? He in about, what was it, 4th minute, he takes a strike from something like 35 yards out. And that was one of those moments that if that ball goes in, this is his first start since July 9th. That ball goes in, oh my gosh, Raul is back, everything's fine, we're good to go, we're off and sailing, right? You need one of those brilliant moments to just create that spark, get this team off the schneid, reinstall that belief of we're the Seattle freaking Sounders, we're gonna get into the playoffs, and then watch the hell out for us when we get there.
Okay, how do you do that?
They had one of those today, and it got disallowed.
Yeah.
Right? And then
they
they
were
never,
offsides.
and then they never had the same energy. I'm not saying it wasn't correctly called off. I'm just saying they did that. They scored that wild goal from the edge of the area. It's really lashed. It's a highlight reel shot, right? And then it comes off. I'm not sure that the balloon ever reinflated after that.
Is that an issue that you don't get the balloon? I mean, if you're that to me is the issue, right?
That's a great point.
What do you mean the balloon went out? Okay, let's go.
Well, you talked about creating your own luck, which you can argue, yes or no. You can create your own momentum. That's, I think, piggybacking on what everybody's saying. If that shot goes in, you get that momentum, and you can ride the final 9 matches into the playoffs. You can create that moment. It was kind of taken away from them. So that's what was disheartening. That was the air out of the balloon right there. And it was right call or not, it was taken away from them. And that could have been your ride for the rest of the season, and it just wasn't there. So it did kind of take away the momentum you created for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I would just echo all of what you said. You know, I think defensively they need to find a bit of a spark there too, because I think they've become so concerned with getting those goals that they have been sucking in too far in attack, and they've been really easy to counter on. And we've seen that pretty consistent the last couple of games.
Nicely said.
You know, the first goal tonight comes off of a corner kick for Seattle, and like that, Barisal takes off the other way, gets 1-on-2, and great attacking play to score the goal. But because so many players are sucked up high into attack trying to get that goal, it leaves so much space behind them that it really is just asking for teams to try and exploit that.
Including Gaymar going high, staying high, and then at the very last second, Javier Arriaga just charging in like a bowling ball. And I don't know if he got in the way of Stephen Fry, but I mean, clearly, it was a mess there on that goal.
But that's the most encouraging thing I saw today was two things. One was when Raul Diaz came off and he was mad.
Yeah.
And he was upset. Now, look, you guys, it's not that he hates Mets, or it wasn't that at all. That's what they need. And it goes back to that point to where Raul took that shot. It was at 4:41. I marked it down because I was like, okay, that's what they need. That's how you create that. You know what? We can do this. And so I think they'll get it done. Passing thoughts, lastly, before we go?
Yeah.
No, you get to, no. So let's talk about you. You get the last word.
They need to turn it on. I think, Boz, every time you and I talk, I'm always the glass is half full type of optimistic and hopeful. They need to turn it on because right now they're, in a spot where they could miss the playoffs the first time in franchise history. So whatever needs to happen now.
They're 1 point out of 6th place.
Yes.
Not only that, they're 1 point out of 7th place. They're 1 point out of 6th place, and they're going to the stadium of the team who's in 6th, the LA Galaxy, who's a point above them. There are 9 matches left in the regular season. Raul Ruidiaz is now healthy. They will get that spark, whether that comes in the LA game, whether it comes in the game in Orlando. Boy, how perfect would it be if it came in the game in Portland to turn them on and get that spark in Portland? How perfect would that be, right? It will come. They will get in. There's not good enough teams above them that will stay above them. But then the question becomes, how good is this team if they are the 7-6-5 seed? That's the tough question. That's the interesting question that we have to look, 2 months in advance at.
And you got that he does the Sounders pre and post game show with all that, because the cup is, he said it was half full. He says it's 3/4 full. What do you say?
I think it is a hard road right now for the Sounders. They have, at this point, still have, their playoff lives are in their hands. They are in control of their own destiny. They can win games, get good performances, and get results and get them in the playoffs. I really want to see if Danny Leyva ends up being the João Paulo replacement, with Obed Vargas probably not coming back for the rest of the year, and João Paulo done for the rest of the year, which we already know. That has been a huge issue for the club in this season, finding someone that can fit in that number 6 position and play that role well, so that Rusnak isn't tied down to being a defensive player. He can be more attacking. I think Leyva had a lot of bright spots, bright moments tonight. I think I would like to see him get more minutes there. I would like to see Schmetz give him some more chances, especially with LA coming up. I think he could be the guy that controls that, calms that position down, and helps to solidify that team cohesion that they've been lacking since those absences.
I think it's an interesting point that you bring up, Maz, that Ruidiaz was so mad when he came off because he was on a minute limit. He had to come off, and he knows that before the game.
Yeah.
You talk with your players about that. There's no surprise. So he's not mad at the coach. He's not mad. He's not mad that it's happening. He's mad that they're down 2-1 and that he didn't score a goal and that he has to come off and that he can't contribute anymore today. They need that fire. If they win out, they'll finish third. Not that they will, but they could win out and finish third realistically. But anyways, enough about tonight, frankly. I just want to take a moment to thank Maz for helping us do all these videos every time that we've been out here to do them. But really more than that, just want to thank these guys and the rest of the Seattle press corps, including Ari Lilienwall and the Seattle press team, Andrew Harvey, all of our buddies, all of our friends we've met over the years, through whom this has become such a passion and such a tradition for us. And I'm sad to not be here every week as this continues, but I couldn't possibly love you guys anymore, and I'll miss you, and I look forward to coming back, and I wish you and the Seattle Sounders all the best in the interim.
Look at you, buddy.
With that, we're out. There's nothing else to be said. Thank you all for listening, and gentlemen, you are the best.